What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Opinions of a D2 Dropout. I am your resident D2 Dropout, Brentar. Unfortunately, this week, time constraints, not able to do a live stream of the pod. We'll be back next week for the MLB draft. We got a lot to discuss this MLB wise on Tuesday, with it being the deadline. We'll be live for that. Coding today, being a day late, and then having other stuff planned and having to work tomorrow. Woo. But let's talk about the one sport that's not in season that I do follow, being hockey. Not much going on. It's dead. We're still a bit away from any big moves. But yesterday we lost Blackhawks owner Rocky Warts, I believe is how you say it. Don't butcher me if I said it wrong. Died at 70 yesterday, so that is a big rip in the NHL when you lose an owner. So, rips there. But let's go to the king. The king of all professional sports here in the United States. NFL. Training camp for most teams. I believe all teams. But I'm not confident. I know most teams have reported for training camp. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to go. For my team, the Lions, who jersey will be up here shortly, they had a scare this week, being that CJ Gardner-Johnson, first the reports said that he went out with a non-contact knee injury, which is big. CJ is going to be a big part of the Lions defense, and to hear that he might have had a non-contact injury, and then that was scary as a Lions fan. And then hearing reports going, no, he ran into the blocker. MRIs show are negative, no structural damage. He's day to day. Like, coming from a Lions fan here, like, I want no injuries. Let's survive training camp. Let's make it through preseason. So when we can get to the season, we're clicking. We're ready. Probably going to get stomped by KC. I'm going to be honest. I do not see. I have faith that the Lions can win. I'm like 60-40 on that game. My heart's telling me go Lions. Logically, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the Chiefs. Like, it's going to be hard to beat those guys. I think if the Chiefs come in with the idea that it's the same old Lions, that with the ring ceremony and all that taking place, like, we might catch the Chiefs off guard. That's the only way I see the Lions winning, is that the Chiefs are more in their head. So, but that's it's gonna be fun. First time in a while that we actually hear that the Lions are the favorites. Like, I just scrolled on the ESPN tab to look at the Lions, and Stephen A. Smith picks the Lions to win the North. There is so much hype around this team. I love it, but at the same time, last time we had this much hype, 2015, Lions did not show up. So I'm treading water. I'm excited for the season, but at the same time, I'm just like, this could go horrible. Ooh, sorry for the yawn. But yeah, it's more right now. Teams reporting for camp. Like, I believe we do have our first big injury at camp coming from the Bills, which kind of sucks. But hold as I find the article. Sorry, I'm just going to do this all in one take. So there will be definitely some breaks, more to use for me to catch my breath. But Naheem Hines, the Buffalo Bills running back, out for the season with an ACL injury sustained from getting hit by a jet ski. Injuries are non-life threatening, so good there. But he was sitting on a stationary jet ski when he was struck by another. That's a rip to their season, and I feel bad for him. Speaking about running backs, Saquon Barkley just signed his deal with the Giants. So sounds like the whole running back Zoom call kind of is falling apart, which is not good if you're a running back. But reports said that they know that there's nothing they can do to try to counter and try to improve the market. I mean, not really counter. But like, it's still funny hearing that the running backs had a Zoom call to try and improve their product, but I saw this earlier today, and thought it was kind of funny. Travis Kelce was disappointed that he couldn't give Taylor Swift a friendship bracelet with his number on it in person. Travis Kelce is apparently shooting his shot that he wants to be the next Taylor Swift hit. Just saying, like, every man should know if you date Taylor Swift, you have a 99% chance that you are about to be a hit song. Don't get me wrong, if I had the chance, like, I grew up listening to Taylor Swift. I can't stand her music. She's amazing. I give her props. Like, what? She's about to become a billionaire, I think, at the end of her Eras tour here. Hell, she sold out Ford Field. They had lines wrapped around a couple days before for the merch stand. Like, Taylor Swift she knows what she's doing. But I know at the same time, if I'm gonna date her, I better put a ring on that finger, because otherwise I'm about to be the next breakup song that is a #1 hit for her. Which I think is just hilarious that guys keep doing this. Going, I want to date her. And we're going to break up. Are you stupid? Do you not realize she has done this, what, about 20 times or so now? But, like, I just find that funny. Like, ugh. Like, why? Why are you... Like, props to you and calling your shot, but, like, nah, that's a bit odd. Just saying. But let's talk about the sport that's in season right now. There's a lot going on. So let's start breaking down some of the news across the MLB. I'm not going to run through the scores like I did last week. I felt like that was tedious. Very, very long and boring. I will update the standings. Baltimore's leading the AL East by a 1.5 over the Rays. AL East still stacked. Every team is above 500. Toronto's in third, 5.5 back. Boston 7.5 back, and Yankees 8.5 behind the Orioles. Let's skip over the garbage central. Texas Rangers are leading the AL West with a record of 59-43. Astros are a game back. The Los Angeles Angels, who are here in Detroit, unfortunately, rainstorm, so they're not playing currently. That game would have finished up. They are 6.5 behind. Seattle is 7 behind. And sorry, Oakland. Oakland A's are the worst team in all of Major League Baseball, sitting at a record of 28-75, 31.5 games behind the Texas Rangers. Moving on to the lousy AL Central. You got the Minnesota Twins sitting at a 54-50 record. If they were in the AL East, they would be behind Boston. AL Central is not good. You got the Guardians 2 games back, who are now at 500. My Detroit Tigers are 46-55, 6.5 games behind the Twins. Then you have the team on the south side of Chicago, 12 games back. And then the second worst team in all of Major League Baseball, the Kansas City Royals, sitting at a record of 29-75, 25 games back. Yikes. Let's head over to the National League. Starting off with the East. Arguably and is the best team in baseball. The Atlanta Braves sitting at a record of 64-35. Got the Phillies 10.5 games back. Miami Marlins are 11 behind. Mets are 17.5 behind. And bring up the rear in that the NL East is the Washington Nationals at a record of 22.5 games. Heading over to the NL Central, you have the Milwaukee Brewers at a record of 57-46, who are only a game and a half lead over the Cincinnati Reds. Third is the Chicago Cubs, 6.5 back. The St. Louis Cardinals, 11 games back. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who were hot to start the season, are 11.5 back. Heading over to the NL West for this team, the Diamondbacks. Fortunately, they are not first. That is held by the LA Dodgers with a record of 58-43. San Francisco Giants are 3.5 back. My Diamondbacks, having lost earlier today, are 4 games back. The Padres are 10 games back, who were predicted to finish higher. And bringing up the rear, the worst team in the NL, Colorado Rockies, with a record of 40-62. It's just bad that the AL has 2 teams under 30. Let's take a quick look at the wild card standings. Currently in first for the wild card is Tampa Bay, 62-43, 4 games ahead. Houston Astros at a 58-44, a game and a half ahead. Toronto is hanging on to the last spot with a record of 57-46. Boston's 2 games out. Yankees 3. Angels are 4. Seattle 4.5. Guardians 5.5. My Detroit Tigers are 10. And Chicago 15.5. And I'm not even going to list KC and Oakland's chances 28.5 and 29. Their seasons are all but over. I would like to point out, not good seeing a run differential of a -260 for the A's. That's not good. You hate to see that. Heading over to the NL wild card race, you got San Francisco at a 55-47, Phillies at 55-47, Cincinnati at a 56-48, all tied for that spot. All 3 wild card spots. So tiebreaker, I believe, is run differential. I think it's head-to-head, like run different. Like they have a way to separate it. They have San Francisco in the first, Phillies are second, Reds are third. Half a game out is the Miami Marlins. Diamondbacks are also a half game out of the wild card spot. We need to get back in that spot. The Cubbies are 5 out. The Padres are 6.5 out. The Mets 7, who sound like they're pretty much selling the entire team at this point. The Cardinals are 9.5. Pittsburgh is 10. Nationals 12. And the Colorado Rockies bringing up the rear, 15 games out of the wild card. So let's talk about the news that is going on, because we're approaching trade deadline. Rumors are swirling. There was literally a move earlier today that happened. Let's talk about Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, who will be playing tomorrow in the doubleheader against the Tigers, has apparently been taken off the trade block by the Angels. I'm not surprised to see Ohtani's taken off the trade block, just because he is a generational player. And as I said, the Angels are only a game and a half out of the wild card. Or no, they're 5.5 out of the wild card, 6.5 out of the first. Like, if they start winning, they have a chance. And apparently, Shohei, it will start game 1. He will be the pitcher for game 1 against the Tigers. Yay. Thank you, Rain, for now throwing Ohtani. He wasn't scheduled to pitch, so I was excited that the Tigers might have a chance, but because of the rain out, decided, hey, they're going to have Ohtani hit in 2 games and then pitch. So they decided that he's fresher to pitch Thursday's game versus Friday. Since it's a doubleheader, they want him to play in both games. So, but he was scheduled to start Thursday. So I'm not. For me, I'm not exactly happy that he's now playing. But props to the Angels and their fans. Sounds like all the directions are pointing that you guys are going to be buyers, keeping Ohtani. So props to you guys. Hopefully you guys have fun with that. I still want the Tigers to pursue him. Priscilla, break the bank. Break the bank and give me Ohtani. It's a smart business move. Give me Ohtani. But a trade that happened roughly an hour and a half ago. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Cleveland Guardians have finalized a trade that will send shortstop Ahmed Rosario, I believe is how you say it, to the Dodgers. And the Guardians receive Noah Thor Syndergaard. I love that. I love it. I don't get why the Dodgers made the move for Rosario. Oh no, sorry, they were talking about the Dodgers here in this article. Rosario joins the Dodgers team, who has a 629 OPS at the shortstop position, which is fifth worst in baseball. APK, how does that feel? How do you feel that your Dodgers are ahead of my Tigers at shortstop? Because Baez is don't get me started on that man. That man needs to be benched again. So, Syndergaard is currently rehabbing in AAA. So, he signed a 1-year deal with the Dodgers anyway. So, I'm kind of nervous. I'm really nervous. Like, I don't want Syndergaard in my division. Like, why? I'm scrolling through trying to see if there's any other baseball stuff I want to talk about. I don't see any. But yesterday was such a heartbreak for the Tigers. They were down. I'm not gonna always do this for a game, but like this game, I kind of want to break it down. Like Eduardo Rodriguez, who honestly is on the trade block by the sounds of it, gave up 2 runs early in the first to Moustakas. Moustakas played a big role for the Angels this game. He hit a 2-run double. I believe he hit another. Like, he was everywhere. But in the first inning, up 2-0. Bottom of the second, Moustakas catches one on the warning track in center field at Comerica, which is still not short enough. Fourth, the Tigers make it 2-1. Dodgers increase their lead, make it 4-1. Tigers respond, make it 4-2. Moustakas, to end the inning, catches on warning track. That's 2 now. He's caught on that warning track. And then in the 9th, the Dodgers extend their lead, making it 6-2. And at this point, I was like, I'm not going to watch this. I'm done watching this game. Like, it's about to be over. There's no point of watching this. But how the 9th inning went. Baez reaches it on a fielding error by the second baseman. I mean, on a throwing error. So, man on first. Like, okay, listening, heading home. Badu strikes out. I'm like, okay, that's pretty normal. Nick Maton, who's batting, I looked, a 156. Actually, it might have increased after that single. But before that, this at bat, he was batting a 156. Singled to left. I mean, singled to center. 5 moves a second. Oh, okay. Jake Rogers. Pretty decent game. Single to center. It's 2 straight hits for the Tigers. Wait, what? And I'm just sitting there going, okay. Rogers already hit a home run, so I was expecting an out. Usually with the Tigers, if they get a hit or something, and oh yeah, it's game over. Zach McKinstry then strikes out. So 2 on, down by 3 with Mr. 300 Riley Green showing up and hitting a double to right field. Scoring Maton, Jake Rogers gets a stop sign, holds a third. So 2 outs. Spencer Torkelson, he's having a rough season. The average is slowly starting to come up. It's a ground rule double. That ground rule double bounced out the warning track in center. Moustakis should have had it. He had it. Went for the basket catch. I think because the crowd got so loud, he got nervous. But could not make a third catch on the warning track. And with the ground rule double, that scores Jake Rogers and Riley Green to tie the game 6-6. Angels decide to intentionally walk Kerry Carpenter. I'm not surprised. Carpenter apparently is on the trade block. Or, I mean, the Tigers are fielding calls about Kerry, but don't plan on moving him. Scott Harris, I trust you. It's your first year. If you get rid of Kerry Carpenter, who's under team control till 29, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be upset. And then facing Verling, he decides to strike out looking, sending us to extras. Where in the bottom of the 10th, good old Harvey Baez. He doesn't get the right to have be called Harvey. You are Harvey now. Grounded out to the shortstop. Ibanez hitting for Badu, struck out. Then my Tiger, if you're around young enough, you know the Tigers back when we were winning decently, had a campaign called Who's Your Tiger? At the time, mine was Maglo, and then it became JV. Eric Kosh, who's one of my favorites, who is struggling beyond beliefs, comes in for Nick Maton and struck out swinging to end the game. Tigers lose 7-6. Thanks to Lang allowing a run. Yeah, it hurt. That game yesterday just that game honestly hurt me yesterday. Like, we had a chance to steal a win. And it was just like, oh, nope, have fun. But nothing we could have done. Angels should have won that game. Honestly, the Tigers got lucked out thanks to the whole throwing error. So let's talk about college football. I'm growing up in Michigan. U of M, go blue. I love U of M. Well, Jim Harbaugh is going to miss the first 4 games. Now, not a big deal. Like, Michigan's schedule is honestly, it's going to be easy, if you're asking me. Like, he's not missing any of the big games. He's going to be suspended for Eastern Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rudiger's, Rutgers. Those are the 4 games he will miss. All home games for Michigan. But like, if we lose to any of those teams, the season's a failure. So Harbaugh's going to be suspended those 4 games. Best of luck. That's all I gotta say. Honestly, the first true test, looking at Michigan's schedule, will now be the night game against the Spartans. Good old Sparty. Michigan State University. That game, leaks have come out saying that instead of a noon game on Fox, which I hate, instead of being on the big noon kickoff or whatever it is for Fox, which is where Ohio State's game is, Michigan State in East Lansing will be a 7:30 kickoff on NBC. I got a word of advice for any fellow Michigan fans. Do not go to that game. Do not go to Spartan Stadium. I will not be surprised if on October 21st we hear of people getting beat up, violence, just tomfoolery out the wazoo. Like, after the whole tunnel incident from last year, where that was a nice roll of thunder, where 8 players for Michigan State got suspended. Like, that fan base is going to be out for blood. So, if you're a Michigan fan, watch it from home. Watch it from home. There you get your own bathroom, your own snacks that aren't like $30 per item. Like, chill at home. Just chill at home. Sit on your couch. No reason to go to East Lansing and risk your health. Or if you're a family, having your kids hear some probably not appropriate language. Like, I'm not a it's a good guy with the language. I will definitely drop a few F-bombs and say other things. But like, if I'm a dad, I probably don't want my 5-year-old hearing a frat boy or some drunk old man cussing up a storm. Just don't do it. Let's be smart and not die or get hurt or go to the hospital or go to jail. Let's be smart about this. Like, this, listening to the Detroit radio station for sports talk, they were talking about this is the most toxic the rivalry has been. Spartans, Wolverines are at each other's necks so much. It's not even fun. And I agree with the Mike Valeni, the host for the ticket between 2 and 6. Like, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6, he's on. I love his show. He's blunt. He's honest about the opinions. He's not, it's going to be a good year for Spartan. Like, he's a Spartan. It's going to be good years for Spartans. He literally, today they were talking about, because they cover Michigan so much. He's like, for Mel Tucker, 9-3. You got to come 9-3. I'm not taking less. And his partner, who's also a Michigan State fan and a grad, went 8-4. Like, Mike is honest about teams. He said for the Lions, it's winning the North. It's getting that home playoff game. Anything else in this season is a failure for the Lions. And I agree with him. Like, we have so much expectation. I don't want to sneak our way in by a wild card. It's win the North. Let's get a home playoff game at Ford Field. Something we have never seen. We haven't seen the Lions win the North. Last time they won the division, it was called the Central. There were 3 divisions. So, but getting back to college football, I agree with Mike that this rivalry is starting to become no longer fun. And with rumors of like UCLA and USC joining next year, that they might just do away with the divisions. I think every other year might be the safer option for the Michigan State rivalry. Because it's getting to a point that it's no longer fun. It's no longer, haha, my team won and I have bragging rights for a year. It's getting too toxic. I think maybe every other year, then we get back to the fun, where the rivalry is more at for Ohio State, Michigan. But right now, as a Michigan fan, I'm gloating to Ohio State fans that, hey, we're better than you. Ryan Day has not beaten Jim Harbaugh. Because Ryan Day has been coach for 3 years. COVID year doesn't count. Michigan backed out of that game. But Michigan's won the past 2 meetings. Like, what does Ryan Day do? It's do or die for him this year, I feel like. Like, seeing a couple years ago, 2 years ago, when Michigan, we finally slayed the beast that is Ohio State. We rushed the field. Like, that was an amazing feeling. Hearing Mr. Brightside playing. But, like, how toxic the rivalry is between Michigan and Michigan State. Maybe put it on the cooler for a bit. Let it simmer. Like, let it cool. Might be best. I don't plan to talk a lot of college. There's 100 and gazillion teams. It's going to be impossible to cover. I'll probably more snapshot the top 12, since next year will be a 12-team playoff. I'll probably do 12, and then do the whole next year. We'll probably go look at the top 25 then. I think this year, looking at the top 12 is probably who's going to make the playoffs in the last year of the 4 teams. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. But, like, I'm excited. Football's approaching. Michigan's first game is September 2nd. That'll be fun. Lions kick it off for us in a couple weeks, which should be amazing. Lions first game against the Chiefs. Big Thursday night. Opening night for the NFL, pretty much. September 7th. So we're getting close to under a month away from kickoff. I'm excited. Should be fun. But let's talk about my other love. And this one's going to be a big talking point. So honestly, we'll come back to NASCAR. We'll come back because a lot of controversies happening in NASCAR. But last weekend, F1 was in Hungary. It was a great race, I guess. I didn't wake up to watch it. I was too tired. Sleep more important, and work. But Max Verstappen, no surprise, record setting for Red Bull. 12 straight wins for them. Win again. Lando Norris, good old Lando, finishes second. His second race in a row he's on the podium? He finished second back at Silverstone. So props to him. Checo comes on third. Kind of a bit of drama here with this race, though, was on the podium, where Lando does his signature slam the bottle down to pop it. He slammed it, and it broke Max's trophy. So that one's fun. Lando had fun with it. I think it's good, but at the same time, like, those trophies aren't exactly cheap. This weekend is the Bulgarian GP at Spa-Francorchamps. I love Spa, but at the same time, I just saw the weather report, and it looks like it's gonna rain all week at Spa. Yeah, the weather report for Spa is not looking good. It's expected to be a rain-soaked weekend. Every session has rain. According to this, free practice in qualifying on Friday has an 80% likelihood of rain throughout the day. So we might not even get qualifying. Saturday, this is a sprint race. We have the sprint shootout with the sprint race. 80% chance of rain. And then for Sunday, slightly better chance. It's only going to be a 60% chance. So my thought is looking back at how I believe it was 2 years ago, and the whole reason most F1 fans are scared is that we didn't even get a race a couple years ago at Spa. We did 2 laps under the safety car to make it a half race or whatever. Like, I'm nervous that we're not going to get a race in. We might. But, like, it's tough to know. I'm hopeful we get the race in, but we'll wait and see. So, I mentioned the Tour de France. They wrapped up earlier on Sunday, actually. So, let's go through and talk about the general classifications as the race ended. Yeah, I'll talk about the point. So, winner of the sprinter is Jakob Philipsen with 377 points. He won, I want to say, 4 stages. So, I believe 3. I believe Philipsen won 3 races. He won 4. I was right the first time. Anytime it was a sprint race, Philipsen was up front. I gotta give props to him. Like, he wanted the green jersey. He wanted it real bad. The youngest rider went to, no surprise, Tadej Pogacar, best young rider. Rodriguez from Spain was closing in, finished only 5 minutes behind Pogacar. I'll get to the reason why Pogacar was only 5 minutes up on him and Gald, who had an 8-minute. But there was a lot of drama after I talked about it on the channel. King of the Mountain. Italians, Gino, I can't say his name to save my life. He won it with 106 points. Gall came in second at 92. TJ Van Gardner. Wait, not TJ. Wow. He hasn't raced in a while. Jonas Vingegaard from Yamaha Bissau, 89 points. That is your top 3. I did say we had an American who held the jersey for the first 14, held it for 13 days because he lost it one day and then got the jersey back. Nielsen Palace came in with 58 points. Nielsen kind of blew up once we got to the Alps. He was out there on a break and just could not. His legs were shot. The stage 16, they interviewed him, and he's like, "I'm going to try to go on the break." But, like, mind-wise, I feel good. Leg-wise, my legs are dead. But mind-wise, I'm good. So, he has the best chance of an American bringing home a jersey, but things happen. It's unfortunate. Just like what happened to the yellow jersey battle. Jonas Vingegaard, winner of the classification by 7 minutes, 29 seconds. It was him and Pogacar. Stage 17, it was the biggest climb of the tour. And on the first climb of the day, out of the 4, I believe, for 17, I believe there was 4. I believe it was a Cat 1, 2 Cat 1s that day, a Cat 3, and then the unclassified finish. No, the finish was on a downhill. Forget about that. Finish was on a downhill. But Pogacar it looked like wasn't ready for a rider in front of him to like check up for a second. Bumped tires, Pikachu fell. He came into this tour already hurt, so Bingo at that point slowed up. Like gentleman's agreement, like he wasn't gonna just suddenly run away to the breakaway that was already formed to try to really pound it and beat up Pikachu. Like, funny thing is, like in my mind, that's what I would do. I would try to get the advantage, force Pikachu to try to catch up. They have a gentleman's agreement that we'll let you catch back up, and then I'll probably go. So Bingo didn't really have to go on stage 17. Never really had any reason to push after 17 for the next 3 days, 18, 19, 20. Just stage 21, riding on the Champs-Élysées Day, where they ride near the Eiffel Tower, through the Louvre, on top of the Louvre. I mean, not through, not like literally through. I mean, on top of, and rounding the Arc de Triomphe. It's not really a race that day. All the jerseys are pretty much decided. I believe there are sprinter points, but like at that point, the sprinter's already been decided. Like most of the time, stage 21 is more of a parade, like F1. Like you know the winner, you're more just going there. Like you'll have guys on the last lap around the arc go for the win. Like Fingo, he knows he's not losing the jersey the last day. I don't think there's ever been a switch at the top of the standings on who wins. So. But that's what happened with the general classification is Pikachu just kind of blew his race. Let me try to pull up where the US men stand. Like after Pikachu fell, I kind of just stopped giving up looking at who, like where the teams were and all that. Like to me, it was good. I was enjoying falling, but like once I knew Nielsen Palace didn't have it, and then we had Go pretty much when I was like, yeah, I'm done. So we had 6 Americans enter the tour this year. On stage 9, we lost Quinn Simmons. He didn't start. Sounded like Simmons fell a couple of. No, wait. Quinn Simmons, U.S. World Champ. U.S. Road Champ. He wore the Stars and Stripes. That was his jersey. Because most of the time you wear your jersey, your team jersey. But like for Trek, instead of the black and red jersey that they have, Quinn Simmons can wear a jersey that's in the Stars and Stripes. So we lost the U.S. champ on stage 9. He fell. His shoulder was completely roll burned. His hip. It was bad. I want to say he went down on stage 6 and survived until the mountain stage of 9. And doctors were just like, yeah, let's not make this worse. On stage 16, which was a time trial, we lost, honestly, in my opinion, the best chance the U.S. had of winning the stage in Matteo Jorgensen from Movistar. Matteo, day 1, Movistar lost their. Was it day 1? Yeah, day 1 they lost their team leader and Ericsson Mas. So for Movistar, it was at this point just go win a stage. That's all their job was we're not going to win the tour. We lost our team leader. For the Tour de France, you more pick a guy that will go for the yellow jersey, and losing him day 1. At that point, it was more individual glory. So we lost Jorgensen, stage 16, which is a bummer. The other 4, they finished. which honestly is great, knowing that we at least had so many Americans do well. So there was technically 150 finishers remaining that finished in Paris. Scrolling. Trying to find the lowest American. Where is he? I really wish I could start this by looks like the lowest finisher. Nice roll with under. The man upstairs apparently is not happy with me. Is an 84th. Lawson Chanduk. Oh, I lost it. One sec. Yes, I know I'm only going down so far. Oh, this is the actual stage. I don't want the actual stage. I want the general. So Lawson finished 84th, 4 hours, 12 minutes behind the leader. Working our way up the standings. Nilson Palace, owner of the Poker Shots for the longest time, finished 66 in the classification, 3 hours, 37 minutes behind the leader. Kevin Vermacry. I have no idea how to say it. I'm sorry. Feel bad butchering the fellow American's name, who is really hard to say. He ended up. Hold on. I had to click on his name. I hate it to say it. Finished 61st, 3 hours, 24 minutes behind the leaders. And the best American from Jumbo Visma helping Bingo Sepp Kuss with only 37 minutes back. Not bad there. He was doing well. He was in the top 10 for most of the time. He lost time on stage 20 where he dropped to 12. But otherwise, the highest he was 6 on stage 14. Kept it till after the time trial. The day that Pogacar fell, he dropped to 9th in the standings and stayed there. So he was doing well. But I think as long as Sepp Kuss is on Jumbo Visma, we're not actually going to see him do well and become a dominant champ for the US. But enough about the tour. Tour is done. We no longer worry about the Tour de France until next year. Live update, since the US women's soccer team is playing right now. Women are down to the Netherlands 1-0. Netherlands scored with 17 minutes into the game. Right now, it's the 34th minute. Hopefully, the women can turn it around. I know the big thing is Rapinoe did not start for the US today. She is listed as a substitute. I wouldn't be surprised if she comes in. US did win their first game of the round robin, where we beat Vietnam 3-0. I believe if we win against the Netherlands, we pretty much secured our place for the knockout round. But right now, 35th minute, down by 1. We'll see if the US can claw their way back. I believe the next game will be against Portugal. That is on the 1st. The women do get a 4-day break. That will be a very late game for us here in the US. 3 a.m. So best of luck watching that. Best of luck to the women's team. I'll give a recap next week on how they do, because I believe the puck. No. Yeah, they'll play that night. So won't be an update this week. The update will be the following week. Heading to NASCAR. I want to finish talking about the sport I love. Go check out my race for Pocono. But there is a few things we need to talk about. The first thing is Joey Logano. I didn't mention this. Bashed NASCAR for how they towed the cars. I did say Joey did run a few laps before ending the race because of damage. Well, it took a couple laps for NASCAR to tow him to pit road to put the tires on. And Joey criticized NASCAR for how long it takes for them to tow, how slow they got to go, and also that it's just awful for the driver having their head bounce around being towed. So, NASCAR will get to work to improve towing after accidents, which I think will be good. I think setting it up that we're figuring out how to get these cars that are stuck on flat tires back to pit road without damaging them even more. Because that was Joey said that the damage ended his race. I think it's from the car being dragged. Because it's not exactly the best hooking the car from the rear and dragging it back to pit road. I think having be a flatbed tow the car to pit road. I like Joey's idea. Let's just throw 4 tires and an air gun on these cars and on a tow truck. To just throw on 4 tires that the pit crew can put on. That might be the best idea. I'm not confident on it, but like I'm just saying that's probably the best course of action for NASCAR to figure out how to really get these cars to pit road and to have them repaired and not damaged. But the big story, if you watched my race review, Denny Hamlin roughed up Kyle Larson. I originally said I thought it was a racing incident, but the more I hear Denny talk about, the more I heard Kyle talk about on his podcast, Denny talk about on his, and watching the replay, Denny intentionally wrecked Kyle. He forced Kyle's hand to be wrecked there. You right on board with Kevin Harvick, who's on the outside and battling for third. Denny's in front of him. Denny's in the outside lane. Like, Denny's pushed up that track. Denny says there's no damage to his car. There's damage to the 5 on the left side. And if you watch the replay, you do see a little puff of air bounce between the cars. So there's that. I want to like Denny. I think Denny's a good driver. 50 wins is impressive, but like, just come out and say you raced the Larson aggressively. Like, I don't care on Denny's podcast that, oh, Kyle has run me up before, and Kyle's saying, oh, no, I haven't. Like, I get that, but then just come out and say you raced him aggressively because he raced you aggressively at XYZ. Being a Hendrick guy, like, I'm not big on Kyle Larson. Like, if I had to list the 4 drivers for Hendrick that I like, Alex Bowman, William Byron, and then I'm a Chase fan, and then Larson. Like, Denny's intentionally wrecked Elliott before Elliott ruined his chances wrecking Hamlin back. And Elliott wrecking Hamlin this year is about to cost Chase even more. But it's like, I've seen 2 times, and I agree with Larson being pissed. Twice now, Denny Hamlin's cost Larson a race, points. Yet, I've gone through and looked. I have not seen a point where Larson being aggressive has cost Denny a ton of points. Like, it might cost Denny the win because Larson raced him aggressively. But the worst thing I've seen when those 2 race is Denny finishing 10th. A top 10 was better than what Larson did this past week where he got 20th. Or if you go back to Kansas where he DNF'd. Denny, you can't. I'm fine if you want to be a hypocrite, but you can't act like a hypocrite and then complain when someone races you aggressively. Last year, most fans would have been on your side because Ross Chastain was being a nincompoop all year. So, like, you had the fans backing. Here, there was no reason to race that aggressively after turn one. I get it. Like, not a lot of passes were happening. We're coming down to the wire. It was, what, 5 to go at the time? 3 to go? No, that was on the final restart. 3 to go. So, like, okay, we're nearing the end. I get it. Like, not a lot of time to make up. But at Pocono, any contact is putting another driver in the wall. So, I want to try to give Denny the benefit of the doubt, but the more you watch the replay, the more and more I'm just like, Denny wronged him. And I don't really like Kyle. Like, yes, I love that he's winning for one of my favorite teams. Woo. But like, I'm not. I like Bowman. I love Alex's Bowman story. That he's finished first all the way through 43rd. Every single spot he's finished in. Hell, before he got tapped to replace Junior, he was working a normal everyday job. Like, I want Bowman to do well. Hopefully he can recover from that back issue. William Byron. I'm a massive Jeff Gordon fan. I've shown my diecast. I'm a Jeff Gordon fan. 24 for me will be life. Like, I will support it, especially knowing that when Rick retires, Gordon's going to be the majority owner of Hendricks. Like, I'm a Jeff Gordon fan. Jeff Gordon owns the cars. Like, I'm going to root for the cars. Knowing the 48 was owned by Jeff long before Jeff retired. I liked it. So it's like the 24 is, if not first, going to be second. Chase, I've had the hardest time. Like, I'm slowly coming back from the whole, he replaced my driver. For 2015-16, I always saw Chase as the guy who replaced Gordon. The guy who forced Gordon into retirement. Looking back at the naive 18-year-old I was at the time, I was naive. But I looked at him, my favorite driver. Like, that was my childhood. And seeing how close he was to winning a championship, pulling the Peyton Manning move, I'm like, seeing Chase arrive to 24, I couldn't. And then knowing he never won in the 24, that put another sour note. I just never could get over the fact that he replaced my driver. Even though in my eyes, like, Chase is going to be a hell of a driver. He's always going to be NASCAR's most popular driver up until he retires, and then we got to figure out a new popular driver. So it's like, I want to give Chase props. I want to like him. But in my head, it's always going to be hard for me to root for, like, be gun-ho with Chase. With Bowman and Byron, I'm for them all the time. I know Byron's won 4 races this year, and most people are sick of him. But I'm glad to see the 24 back in victory lane. I love that car. I'm glad to see it's back in victory lane. I really hope Bowman can get what out of his head. I really hope it's just the back. He's got to make up these 50 points. I really hope the next few races we can see him be up front. I know seeing him in the top 10 before Denny wrecked him again, even though that one was there. Bowman got wrecked by air. That one was not Denny's fault. But knowing Bowman and Hamlin have issues all year, hell, stems back to Martinsville when Bowman won, Denny calling him a hack. But, like, I want Bowman to win. I'm hoping his back isn't the reason. I'm just hoping that maybe Hendrick thought he would have had a win by now, so development for these tracks weren't the priority. So I'm hopeful, but as I said, Larson's going to be the lowest on the totem pole. Nothing against Larson. He's a hell of a driver. It's just, I love the 24 more. I like the story of Alex Bowman. I believe Bowman can be a hell of a driver. There's a reason he replaced Dale Jr. A reason they nodded him to replace Jimmy in the 48. There's talent there. But breaking his back early this year, it's cost him. Honestly, I don't know if Chase is going to make the playoffs just because of him breaking his leg skiing, which I don't want the drivers to stop having fun. But then being a bonehead at the Coke 600 and just right hooking Denny, I think that right hook will cost Chase. Not breaking his leg. I think the right hook will. But we've been recording for an hour. I've pretty much covered all the sports. I know next week we're going to have a lot more for the NFL and baseball to talk about. I won't be talking about the tour. Women's soccer's not happening. Well, will be happening that night, but I'm not going to do a preview. But honestly, football's ramping up. I'm going to have opinions. Oh yeah, my pick for this week, heading to Richmond for NASCAR, since I was right that Denny Hamlin would win. Well, I gave you like two choices, Denny or Martin, and I was right with Denny. This week, I'm just going to give you one. Looking at Martinsville, Martin Truex, always good. Denny's always good. But I think this week, I think he's a fanboy. There's a reason I talked a ton about Bowman. I think this is the week Bowman recovers. I think Bowman will get a top 5 here. Will I be wrong? 100%. Bowman and the 48 team has not shown speed since he's returned. But if I'm going to do any betting, for me, it's going to be on Bowman. Give me Alex Bowman. I just have a feeling. But if you want like the actual winners, probably Denny, Truex are honestly the favorites. They're always good at Richmond. So earlier this year when we went, the winner was Kyle Larson. Ooh. Watch out for Kyle. Josh Berry in the 9th. Hendrick dominated that day, so maybe Bowman could. Bowman was the 8th here in the spring. Christopher Bell was the highest Toyota. Kevin Harvick was the highest Ford. Where did Denny and Truex was 11th? Where was Denny? Denny was 20th. Yikes. Yeah. I'm personally putting my money. I'm not actually going to bet because I'm too broke for that right now. I'm putting my bet would be on Bowman. I would put my money on Bowman. But that's going to do it for me today. That was Opinions of a D2 Dropout. If you like, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on notifications. These podcasts will usually come out Tuesday of me just rambling about whatever I want for an hour. I will do NASCAR race reviews on Sundays, right after the race, all the way up till the end of the season. From the NFL season, I will be live streaming every single Lions game, giving you guys my live reactions where we can talk about what's going on in the game and see how I'm reacting. I also stream over on Twitch. Go follow me there. I'm doing F1 career mode with PK. I got a career mode with my moderator Newman. Play some Valorant, some Overwatch, Fortnite, some party games with other friends. I'm honestly a true variety streamer over there. So go give me a follow over there. Follow me on Twitter. The whole gist, all that. But if you really do like me just rambling for an hour, please hit the like button. And I will see you in the next video, everyone. Peace.